when we were dealing with pollution into the river, particularly the Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, called Msimbazi, people were throwing waste into the river, but also industrial chemical from the industry were being thrown into the river. The regulation and the laws exist very fine, but the enforcement of the law doesn't exist. When talking to the people surrounding the area who are affected by the pollution, the chemical pollution like skin diseases, scabies, some of it goes into their vegetables, they will tell you they want to enforce that the factory does not throw chemical into the river, but every time the regulatory or those who are responsible to enforce go into the factory, they come back out and nothing happens. And the perception of the people is that they come out with brown envelope because no action is being taken. So what we trained and provided this group of people along the river is how they can actually channel their problems to the right relevant regulatory authority. Even though things were no action had been taken, on the later date when the new government came into the force, the minister basically enforced by fining them like 3 times and mandatory that they should regulate their discharge into the river by constructing new installation that clean the water before it is thrown into the river.
The best way to address this corrupt tendencies is by engagement and involving the local people. They're the best fighters. No single entity, whether in central government, can do it, but the community themselves, once empowered, can fight for their own rights. And that's what we believe in the water sector in Uganda.
Following my long career in the water service sector, I have encountered corruption in many forms and manifestations. And I would like to share one case where I served as a utility manager. And from my position as utility manager, the revenue collection was not matching the amount of water we were producing. And hence it was clear to me that the business was under threat. And so what action did I take? First, it was very clear on my mind that these were leakages and they could be contained in one way or the other, and part of my staff were involved. So I first carried out a sensitization of all staff on the impact of corruption, on the company performance, and also on their own welfare. The next thing I did was to also reshuffle staff, move staff from one area of operation to another area of operation. And all this process was happening in a very consultative way. I would meet and talk to all my staff. And then the third action that I did is that I did put up an anti-corruption box next to my office. And all staff were sensitized that all anti-corruption cases were to be reported there. And I can tell you the results were quite amazing because within a period of 2 months, the revenue of that utility actually doubled.
So as an individual, I've experienced a case of corruption where I've had to pay for water, but then the agent insisted on having me pay them half the money, but on a promise that I will still have my water. But then as an informed citizen, I know the procedures, and so my solution was that I knew that the company had an online system of payment, and I knew for sure that even if I gave him half the money, sometime this will catch up with me. And so self-awareness is quite important when you're trying to fight corruption, and that is why we need to put more emphasis on awareness creation, because ideally most of us fall victim to corruption because of lack of self-awareness.